Hi and welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses. So today Maurice rather shocked about getting ridden because we did make a good effort and start when we first got here back in October, but to be honest, for the last 5 months there's just been so much other stuff going on. The weather's been so bad, fencing issues, you know what it's like, life gets in the way and suddenly so much time's gone past. He also has some arthritis, and there is times when he's just bad in his legs, in his fetlocks, and it just doesn't seem fair. Other times, if he's just a little bit off, it actually does him good to work. And now spring's coming, and hopefully the worst of the weather's over. I'm just going to change direction. Hopefully, I can start to work him a bit more and get him in shape and strengthen his muscles so that his joints will hold out more if his muscles are strengthened. So what we wanted to film today actually was starting to be able to lead one horse from another. So I would like to be able to ride him out without Umo getting very stressed. Of course, I can lock him in the stable and he would get stressed and he might end up getting over himself or not. He might get more and more stressed, but I would rather avoid that. So I thought ideally I could take him with me and he will also be getting some exercise, and then one day I can just slip off this horse onto the other horse. So that's the idea. He's starting to relax a little bit now, also to relax myself. So I've got my rope halter here for Umo. I would prefer to use a rope halter for leading, just that you have a bit more control and a bit more finesse than with the other kind of halter. Before you would start to do it from horseback, for me, I would want to first be able to lead both the horses from the ground. You know, depends which horse is the boss over the other one, how easy that is, and the same with once you get on. But yeah, it's I start it from the ground. I did this with him and Galileo was terrified of him. So even with me on the ground in between them, it was really quite difficult. But we just trained, practice, 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 practice. And we practiced a lot in the place where we were living then. And then I could ride out and ride and lead. I mean, Galileo and Triunfo together never had to practice it. You could ride either and take the other one because they're just such a team. And it's handy with them that they have exactly the same reaction when something happens, you know. If you've got one that's very flight and one that's very freeze, then you have to be a bit more aware because otherwise this one takes off and the other one stops that you've got on the rope, or vice versa. And it's quite difficult. Umo, leave Albert alone. He's such a camera hog. So I think today, because we have not been practicing this and it's all very new, I'm going to have to get off to put Umo's halter on. I would ideally like to be able to do that just from on here, but today I'm just going to jump off and do it. Also, I've been very, very electric, which usually only happens to me with cars, but it's been happening with Umo. So the poor horse has been getting a bit of shocks. Which is really horrible, so I'm just going to jump off and get his halter on. So I'm just, as I'm in a closed space here, I'm just going to leave Maurice go there. I have put the reins through the stirrups just so that if he does decide to walk off, he's not going to get tangled up. Umo, let's have a look. How are you doing? There's a good boy. He's not going to get a shock off me now. I'm going to touch Biscuit first just in case. Good boy, Biscuit. It's something about me and Umo because I've done that before and then he still ends up getting a shock. There's a good boy. Ah, good boy, Umi Boomy. There we go. Here we are. That's a good boy. There. See, no shocks now. It's okay. He's looking very suspicious, aren't you, Umo? Here we go. There we go. There we go. Don't nibble at your halter. So, You know, and this can be also obviously to begin with much easier with a helper, that you can get on your horse and get organised and then have the helper pass you the other horse. I'm going to do it myself, so the main focus is be to watch you don't get the rope around your leg. Well, through the whole thing, that you never get the rope around your leg. And also that your lead horse should be, mine's trying to chew my rope, which he does not usually do. Your lead horse should be good on the end of a rope, that he knows how to follow a feel of a rope. If I offer him a feel, he should know that, and he should know a bit to listen to the rope. And my other horse should be good at being ridden with one hand, which we're very much a work in process. And like I said, we've just not been able to do a lot of riding for quite some time. So this is very much a trial. No idea how this is going to go. If Umo keeps biting, what is it with you with biting the rope? Huh? What is it? I don't know, Umo. So you see what I like about the rope halter, because of that knot has a bit of weight. I don't like metal clips because they can bang on the horse. But you see just with a loose rope how that can have quite a lot of meaning to him. Just with a nice loop in the rope, and we can just use a bit of a vibration. Does that make you stop and think a bit about chewing the rope? So that's also, maybe he just needs a bit more guidance and a job to do. I'm just going to bring him round the side here. I'm going to leave this quite long. Obviously very important to have your rope organised. You know that it's not all twisted up like spaghetti. Hook of your elbow is always a good place to keep your extra rope. And these ropes have a coil in them, so that you coil it the right way and it sits nice and smooth, so you can let it in and let it out. So I'm going to really keep an eye on Morisco, because he can be very, very bossy to Umo, and I don't want him telling Umo off. Do I, Biscuit? Hey, Umo. Here we go. Like I said, ideally you would have a helper. So I'm going to take the coils of my rope in my rein hand, so that if I had to, I could drop them. Here we go, Biscuit. Just get ready to raise my hand. I did used to ride Morisco with a flag when I rode out, because I lived in a place before and there was a lot of loose horses around. So he had to learn when I was giving him instruction and when it was not for him. So this is slightly similar. Oh, well, that was a relatively good start. Good boy, Biscuit. So I'll just take a little breath, settle myself down, wiggle my toes. And ideally, I'm going to let Umo go which side he wants. Ideally, I keep his head at my knee, that he always stays behind and he stays there. And keep an eye that this one's not going to try and swing around and kick him or bite him. So let's just go for a little walk and see how we get on. I'm going to let Umo stay on this side on the inside for now. And just let Biscuit wander around a bit. And I'm not going to insist he stays by my knee. As I said, that's ideal. And as long as Morisco's listening to me and not going to try and kick Umo, look like that. Like that, you see. Just as I said it, I should be paying attention to it. And there's a moment, you see when my rope went down there, that I have to watch I don't get my rope round my leg. So he should be listening to me over trying to bully the other horse. Of course, if they were loose together, he wouldn't tolerate Umo being there. But he should listen to me and not be doing that. I totally missed it. Didn't get there on time. Not so good at filming, remembering what I'm saying. I like to be totally in what I'm doing. So here we go. We've also got the shepherd with the sheep has just turned up on the other side of the wall. So that's a little distraction. And there's a funny little black dog jumping in and out there. So here, ideally, I would put Morisco in a slight shoulder in position, and also kind of say to Umo, don't you be making faces at him out there. You know, can I maybe keep him a bit out and make a little bit of distance there so that he doesn't cheekily, because he's not that scared of Morisco, although Morisco's the boss. You see, when I did this with Galileo would never have dared try to nip Morisco, but he's absolutely thinking about it. And as I say, our one-handed riding's not that great either. So there, so important when it is going nice to take a breath and just let it flow. While keeping a lot of awareness, noticing what's going on. Umo. So I might try and change sides and just see what happens. So I could either do a bit of a turn on the forehand with him and pass the rope over the front, like this. Biscuit. There we go. Pass the rope over the front. Or I could do it the opposite round the back, but let's just go over the front. And then I keep him more in my sight without me having to twist myself around. Let's see what he feels like on this side. Of course, if you were riding out on the road, I would want to keep my lead horse on the outside. So depending which side of the road you're on, I would want to be between the horse I'm leading and the traffic. So the one on the rope is on the curb side of the road, if that makes sense. There we go. What are you doing, Umo? Because you do have to watch. You know, he could get really playful and suddenly he's a bit like, what is going on? This is weird. He could get very playful and want to leap up on the back of him, or who knows what they like. Things you see them doing when they're out loose together. And you could also say, oh, well, Umo's like, oh, Morisco's being controlled. It's my chance to do what I want. I'm not saying that's what he's thinking, but there we go. Are you doing some very nice half passing along there, Umo? He's looking he's being very nice and light on my rope and listening, but I think he is a bit like, what is going on here? I wonder what happens if we halt. There we go. Good boy. Give him a stroke. There's a good boy. There's a good boy, Umi Boomy. Such a good baby. Oh. Got very dirty, muddy horses today. Very looking forward to it being warm enough to wash them. Have nice white horses again. Okay. Should we try that a bit more? That Biscuit, don't. And of course, ideally, he would be alongside me, but I'm not going to insist on that. The fact he's just staying there and being calm and quite attentive is quite good. Quite enough. So let's, that was a nice big sigh, Maurice. I felt his whole body give a big sigh there. Let's go off and take a little walk again. Biscuit. Come on. Good boy. There we go. There we go. Like I say, ideally, I would have been riding Morisco, giving him sort of, I don't know, at least 20 minutes, half an hour every day for at least a few days, a few weeks before. But, you know, on the other hand, we should be able to just pick up where we left off, even if it's been a long time. Just remember to keep my shoulders nice and relaxed. What do you think, Umo? Let's see if we can stop. I wonder if we can back up. Wee, Biscuit, where are you going? There. There's a good boy, Umi Woomy. Such a good boy. Right, let's see if we can change direction again and maybe change round the back this time. I just swap my hands like that. There we go. Good boy, Umo. Good boy. There. There we go. Let's see if we can get him a bit more up beside my leg now. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. That's it. There's a good boy. Biscuit, don't you dare. Just exactly in the same spot where he did it before. Look at that. See? So that's me. And I could get really annoyed at myself for not getting there on time. But that doesn't do any good. So better to just get curious. How can I do it better next time? get there on time. Yeah, it's funny. I think it actually goes better on the other side for Morisco. On the other side, he feels like he doesn't try to be kicking Umo. It also feels like Umo's not pushing in on him so much when it's on the other side. Like I say, it's good to do both because of the road. And even if you're not riding on the road, like when I'm leading him on this side, he's a bit bent towards me. So if I always kept him on the same side, I'm going to put a bit of a curve in him that I don't want to. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. And sometimes a little bit well done is better than overdoing it. So I might just think, actually, that's not bad for a first effort. We'll maybe just stop there, quit while we're ahead. Let's see if we can just go round this corner once again where Morisco's threatening him. And I'm going to get Morisco a little bit again more in a sort of shoulder in, shoulder for. And I can use my rope just to say to Umo, keep that little distance between us, please. There we go. That's a nice expression from both. So I'm going to try and haul over here. And I wonder if I could take Umo's halter off without getting off Morisco. That would be nice. Good boy, Umi Boomy. No, Biscuit. Oh, he's so naughty, isn't he, Umo? Come. There we go. Right, I'm going to just see if I can keep him attentive with one hand and undo the halter with my other hand. There's a good boy, Umo. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Morisco. There we go, come on. Ho, ho, ho. Good boy. Good boy. And I'm not going to insist on this. If it's going to be too difficult, I'm just going to get off. Because like I say, we need a lot of practice at this. And I don't want to get the halter half. Oh, that was a nice breath, Umo. I don't want to get the halter half off and him shoot away or do anything crazy. Good boy. Actually, let's see what happens if we try and do it from the other side, as they seem to be better on the other side. Let's pass him round to the other side. Oops, Biscuit. Where are you going? That was a very nice rein back, wasn't it, Umo? So, actually, as I did that, there's another thing that the horse you're riding, if you never do that, swing a rope over their head, you would obviously want to practice that first. You want to make sure the horse you're riding is very okay with the rope going over the head and all over his bum. So you would practice with the rope before you did this. He's very used to it because I sometimes ride him just with a halter and a rope rather than a rein on either side. Should we just have a little pause? Yes, you're doing a nice chew. Biscuit's chewing away. Let's see. There we go, Umo. Good boy. Biscuit. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. There we go. Ole. Ole. There we go. Biscuit, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Come. Good boy. Good boy. Muy bien. Muy bien. Yes, Wes, where are you going? It was like, I'm out of here. That wasn't too bad for first effort. So just organise my rope. And I love to have these little strings on my saddle to tie ropes or jackets or things on. So like everything, it's a practice. And it's to be aware of what were the things that were tricky in that and what could I do to improve them before I try again, you know? So riding him without the other one and getting him a bit better with one hand, which we used to be quite good at, but I haven't done a lot of that recently, would be good. And yeah, I think Umo was quite good. Also, alongside that, I should be doing some more halter work with him. But yeah, quite happy with that for a little trial. So thank you for joining us today. and we'll look forward to see you next time.